or so is to insert in some ministry moments to tell you a little bit about some of the work, the ministry that's done through this church and by the support of this church. And so this week I'm going to ask Christy to come forward if you would share with us about the Lighthouse in Light of Life Ministries. You're on sharing section.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to stand down here for this. So this morning, I'm going to talk to you about a number of things. I'm going to give you some statistics and some facts. I'm going to share with you about some facts that are happening around in this community. And I'm going to also talk about the Lighthouse. And as I'm sharing some of these statistics, I know these are going to be difficult to hear, and it might make people feel a little uneasy. Because oftentimes when people hear about traumatic things, especially about sexual abuse, people become uneasy. And usually we become uneasy because we're so mad, we're so like, I don't get it, why does this happen? Or we become uneasy because we know somebody that this has happened to. And statistically speaking, I can pretty much guarantee you all know somebody that this has happened to. Or you become uneasy because perhaps this has happened to you in your life. And if that is the case, I'm so sorry. But we're also going to hear about the faithfulness and the amazing work of God, our Father. And so through these valleys that we go, that might be hard to hear and might feel like, gosh, she's being so negative today. I want you to keep in mind that God is providential and He is in charge, and we are on the right path here for helping. So statistically, 1 out of 4 girls and 1 out of 6 boys will be sexually abused before they turn 18. And sadly, only 1 out of every 10 of those children will ever come forward and tell somebody about it. So that means that per one person, if we had a person standing in front of me and said, this has happened to me, there would be 9 other children that never are coming forward or come forward when it's really late in their life. Also, of all the sexual assaults that happen in our country, 70% of them happen to girls under the age of 18, of 70% of all sexual assaults. So when we look at this issue, it wreaks havoc in the lives of these people. It is not something that just happens and then they move on. And we're going to talk a lot about women who this has happened to, because this ministry right now is focused on women. But I will tell you, in my history, the last 20 years of working with kids who have been sexually abused, I have sat across a table from hundreds of little boys and young men who have been abused. And I will tell you, it is just as drastic, sometimes if not worse, for boys than it even is for girls. So please don't take that I'm talking a lot about women right now, that I'm not acknowledging that this absolutely happens to men as well. So the problem is that this havoc that is wreaked in their lives. So women who have been sexually abused are 2 times more likely to be arrested for violent crimes or have a violent crime acted out on them. They are more likely to have drug and alcohol issues. They are 40% more likely to have drug and alcohol issues than the regular person out there. They are more likely to have a hard time holding down jobs. They are more likely to have eating disorders, obesity, anorexia. They are more likely to be in domestic violent relationships. The list goes on. They are 30% more likely to have heart problems, diabetes, major health issues related back to the trauma of being sexually abused as a child. So it is a huge problem. And now let's look into our community right now. So anybody can go downtown and walk around and see that there is a problem with people on the streets. There's a problem with homelessness. And a lot of these women are out there on the streets. Their kids are in foster care, or they're in prison, or they're out and they're being trafficked. And for those of you who don't even know what trafficked is, that is they're prostituting themselves. They are out there selling their bodies to get drugs, to get money, or just because they have a trafficker that's taking control of their lives. These women are all over the place, and they're suffering, and they need assistance. There's also, it's not surprising, that there's a very small amount of low-income housing available, as Cindy knows, and that's a real tragedy here in Manchester. There's just not enough low-income housing. And we have people working on that, and that's important, but I have to tell you, that's just going to put a Band-Aid on it, because these people need a program. And there is nothing in the city right now that takes in women and their children to have a program where they can work to heal and move on with their lives. So about 2 years ago, I felt this call from God to start Light of Life Ministries. And I really thought it was just going to be where I was going to have a blog, and I was going to write about my own experiences and how the power of God and Jesus really saved me. And you know, I wanted to talk to churches about ensuring that we are really ministering to people, especially women and men who have been sexually abused. And so I just thought, oh, I'll just do this on the side. And through that, I started writing the Out of Darkness Bible Study, which is this 12-week Bible study that I wrote that really looks at shame, trust, all kinds of issues, sexuality, issues that women deal with who have been sexually abused. And then it takes a look at the Word of God and says, well, what does the Word say about that? And so I went to an organization and I piloted this program with a bunch of women who had drug and alcohol problems and addictions, had been trafficked, and I shared this 12-week Bible study with them, and it was amazing. It was incredible to see the work of God, to see and to be a part of this like brokenness and this incredible like deep dive into these really horrible parts of all of our lives, but yet all in the comfort of the Word of God and like the safety of the Word of God. And so it was really through that Bible study that God put the Lighthouse in my heart, and it literally was like one of those like, you're going to do this voices in my head. You know, not like the deep, like Allstate guy voice, but like it was like, and it's called the Lighthouse. Like it just came, and I called Pastor Bob, and I was like, I think I have to do the Lighthouse. That's what God told me, and that was about 18 months ago, and you know, I just followed God's lead, and things kept being put in front of me. This house is of God. It is of God. And I can tell you, I could spend 2 hours telling you that testimony, and someday maybe I will. Not during church, though. But, so what Lighthouse is it is a house, and we are going to take in up to 10 women at a time with their children. At this house, we will provide services in-house that are all Christian-based. So they are group life studies, personal life studies that are Christian-based. We will do Out of Darkness Bible Study. They will live in a home that is trauma-focused, which means that they will feel safe, that they will be protected, so that they can have an opportunity to heal. Also, they will have people come in that will help them financially. So these people will help them to learn how to deal with their money, to budget, to get financial literacy. And so we will have them helping to get that. We will provide them parenting classes. We will have 2 case managers that will work with these women. And then they also will be going out into the community. So we have a partnership with Catholic Medical Center, where through their Healthcare for the Homeless program, so all these women will get mental health, physical health, substance abuse assistance, everything that they need. Whatever it is that they need, they will have that, and it will be free. It will be part of our program. We will work with Catholic Medical Center. Plus, we are working with the YMCA, the YWCA, 1269 Cafe, Thrive. We are working with so many organizations in the city that are coming around us so that these women have all of these services wrapped around them, with the center being the love of Jesus in our home at the Lighthouse. The best part is that we have churches. Right now we have 6, but I know we're going to be getting a lot more. And these churches are all partnering with us, where the women will get to choose, and figure out which church feels good to them. And they'll come and they'll be, we may have some women here, and they'll become part of a church family. So that when they leave in 9 to 12 months, when they're finished with the program, they will have this authentic relationship with a church, with people in the church that will help come alongside them and keep them going. This is a different program because we're combining 2 critical things. Jesus, which is so important, and we have so many programs that have nothing to do with Jesus out there. And then it combines the community, which is so important because there are programs out there that just focus on Jesus, and these women are not equipped when they go back out into the world to manage their life. And sometimes we need anxiety medication. Sometimes we need therapy. And so this program combines both. And we're hoping that we're going to open later this summer. Those of you who know, who come to prayer, you hear me all the time. We're just waiting to close, but it's coming soon. And we're going to start a huge campaign tomorrow for bringing some funding in so that we can get on the ground running and hire our staff that we need. And it's a campaign called Bring Them Home campaign, because we have literally women out there right now, I know of some, that are waiting for us to open. They're waiting for us. And so we need to get this going. And so I think if you text to 94,000 L House, for Lighthouse, L House, then you will get on my list for emailing, but I think most of you are on that list anyway. But so please pray for the Lighthouse, and I'll continue to keep you updated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christy, for sharing and giving everyone an update for what's going on. That's great. And we're going to pray.